I will share with you how I scored 9.0 in my Ielts speaking test. So I'm sharing with you my personal strategies and tips that helped me to score a high mark for each of those tests. Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Ennis Oloranipa. I'm an Ielts coach, and in this video I will share with you how I scored 9.0 in my Ielts speaking test. So what's Ielts? Ielts stands for International English Language Testing System. So it's the world's most popular English language test. It's popular for countries like the UK, Canada, Australia, and some other countries. Taken usually for higher institution or for global migration. So if you're planning to study in a different country or to move and live in a different country, most likely you require Ielts. There are two types of Ielts. There's the academic and the general. So the academic is more specific for education. So if you want to study in a different country, you would take the academic test. And for migration, you take the general Ielts. Now, for each of them, there are 4 parts, which is common to both of them. They have the listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Now, the listening and speaking are exactly the same for both general and academic, but reading and writing are a bit different in the sense that for academic, you have more academic related topics, and for general, you have more general topics. But if you get the principle for either of them, it's easy for you to apply to any. All right, so let's talk about the speaking. Now, for each of them, the highest score is 9.0. And then you have the band. The band is the average of all 4. So when you add up all the scores for each of them, the average is your band. So for each of the videos, I will tell you what I scored in my own test. So I'm sharing with you my personal strategies and tips that helped me to score a high mark for each of those tests. So the speaking test, the first thing I want you to do is play a word game. So these were things I did before my test. Now what's a word game? Now this word game would help you for all the parts. As a matter of fact, all that I will share with you for this speaking will be relevant and useful for the other parts. So you have to pay close attention. Now in Ielts, you're asked questions on a wide range of topics, from work to study, to family, to where you live, to advertising, in the different parts of the speaking. So the first thing you want to do is to get acquainted with a wide vocabulary, a wide range of words. And one easy way to do it is to play the word game. Now remember that this thing I share with you will help you in all the parts. So what is the word game? You pick a word and then you try to write at least 10 words that are connected with that particular topic. For example, when I say summer, what comes to your mind? Sun, hot, sea, picnic, summer party, beach, sunbath. So these are examples of words that come to your mind, holiday, when you talk about summer. So the first thing you want to do is to pick a range. So I'm going to give you a range of topics, a long list of topics, and you play the word game. So it's a game you can play with your friend. That means pick the word and then try to call out different words that are connected to that particular word. Another example, school, students, classroom, textbooks, computer, games. So these are examples of words connected to school. So that's the first thing you want to do, to get familiar with a wide range of words, because you will need them in answering these questions. So play the word game. I'd like you to leave a comment below, pick a word or 2 or 3, and then without checking the dictionary, see how fast you can process words connected to that particular word. It's a good way to start training yourself. While on the road, in the bathroom, just pick any word, house, and then think about words connected to a house: room, walls, electronics, furniture, bed. So these are words that are connected to a house. The second thing, while preparing for my Ielts speaking test, I realized that I struggled sometimes when I was asked a question I didn't have an experience of yet. So I always try to speak the truth when I was answering the questions. So sometimes I got stuck if I was asked a question I wasn't used to. For example, I'm practicing and I have to describe your favorite or my favorite blue house. Now I'm thinking, have I seen the blue house before? So that takes me some time. But in Ielts, you don't have to speak the truth or something you have experienced. You don't have to speak your experience. Just use your imagination. So for example, you're asked about describing your favorite blue house. Pick your own house that you know so well. Even if it's white in color, give it a blue color. And then in your mind, begin to describe. My favorite blue house is big. It's a bungalow, has 5 rooms. The walls are very beautiful, well decorated with items like the picture frame, art. You see, you pick what you are familiar with and then you connect it to the question, you convert it. So when you think like this, you can never get stuck. So the second tip is, do not always want to tell your experience, or you must not tell your experience. The idea with Ielts and the Ielts speaking test is for you to be able to use your imaginative power to think out something connected to the question. You might be asked a question about something you have not seen. I remember while preparing for my Ielts, there were times I struggled a bit with questions like that. So I realized that I didn't have to say what I had seen. The examiner is not scanning your mind to see if you're telling the truth. They are not interested in the accuracy of the information. They are more interested in the content and the delivery of that information, not how correct it is. The third tip is the volume and speed of your voice. Now, in the Ielts speaking test, what you don't want to do is to be too fast. So even if you're a fast speaker, you want to go with a moderate volume, a moderate speed. And of course, be loud enough, audible enough for your examiner to hear you. Because when you're audible, it communicates confidence, and your examiner can actually listen to you and be involved in your conversation. So that's very important. Another tip is be cheerful on exam day. Now, this is a very important tip. You see, you are communicating with an examiner who is also human and has emotions. So you can connect with the emotions of your examiner while answering your questions. Of course, there could be different circumstances that could surround your exam day or your exam moment. Probably you had the first 3 parts in the earlier part of the day and then you're stressed. But for that time, that speaking, this is one time where your emotions really count. So you have to put on a cheerful mood. It will help you in giving a good delivery. So this concludes the part 1 of how I scored 9.0 in my Ielts speaking test. Now, I have a lot more things to share with you in the part 2 and probably part 3 of this video on the different parts of the speaking test and more specific tips for each of the parts with practical examples. And of course, I'm going to also make some videos on reading, writing, and listening. I will share with you uncommon tips that are very handy for you to score your desired score in Ielts. I'd like to leave a comment below if you enjoyed this video, and I want you to play the word game. Remember, the word game was the first point I shared with you today. The second point was you must not tell your experience. So I'm going to also share with you some unfamiliar questions where I want you to use your imaginative power to connect what you know with what is being asked. The third point was for you to work on the volume and speed of your voice, to be audible enough and not be too fast so your examiner can hear you. And of course, the fourth point I said, be cheerful on exam day. And if you'd love me to make more videos on Ielts, please leave a comment in the section below, and also subscribe and like, and don't forget to share with your friends as well. So see you in the part 2 of this video. God bless you.